All right, well, hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Around Cranberry Township, where, as you may know, we like to interview local business owners and service professionals and theaters and community functions. I like to do this. My name is Dr. Bulow. I run the Upper Cervical Chiropractic Center called Revive in the Rowan Tower. And today I'm joined with Jessica and Anna here at the Comtra Theater. And so welcome, guys. Glad you could take the time, you know. So what we're going to do is I'd love to just tell everybody about the Comtra Theater and its history and where it came from. One of the reasons I started this whole thing was because Cranberry, there's so many new faces to Cranberry every month. People are moving in and things like that. So Jessica, why don't you tell everyone kind of the history of Comtra, where it came from?
So Comtra started approximately 35 years ago, and it started in a tent, believe it or not.
That's
yes,
awesome.
It started in a tent with Marie Tietz, and she had the Comtra Players, as they were known, and now it's transcended into the Comtra Theater, or the Cultural Center. This whole experience here is the Cultural Center, and it is a performance venue that produces 12 theater shows a year, 12 comedy nights a year, and then a series of independent performances. Usually on the weekend or the months that have 5 weekends, so that we always have something going on. There's very rarely that we don't have something going on.
Yeah, no, that's good to know, because I typically will be driving by the theater. For those of you that don't know, it's right, you can't miss it really. It's right on 19 next to Piazza Plaza. And I'm always looking at the signs going, oh, they have a show. And it's like, well, of course you have a show. So there's a show every month and a comedy night. That was new for me. Tell us about the comedy night.
Okay, so the comedy nights usually take place the last weekend of every month. And it is an outside company called Drinking Partners. They have a podcast. It's one of the nights where we actually allow B.O.B. But it is all local comedians that stand up and do their thing on our stage. There's two performances a night, one at 7 o'clock and one at 10 o'clock.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and they've been very well attended.
Do we look tilted?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. No, not you guys. I'm looking at the camera. If we're tilted, let us know. We're going to find out. But that's really, really cool. I had no idea about that. I think that's awesome. And then you also, over the summer, have the kids programs, right?
Yes. So right now we have a summer camp going on. There's approximately 12 kids in that performance camp. And then it repeats itself in August, but those are going to be older kids. So there's going to be a little bit more in-depthness to it. And I think there's maybe 24 to 30 kids in that one.
How young do you start with both the theaters and the
Good question. Yeah, so usually it depends on, of course, the different performances that we're doing. But sometimes we take kids as young as, a couple years ago we did Honk, the musical, which is the story of the Ugly Duckling. It was done here 2015, I think. And our youngest was just turning 5.
That's great.
So we are all inclusive. We take everybody.
Yeah. I was telling them when we first started that, you know, I was an angel in A Christmas Story singing something on one of those stairs there, and it was a lot of fun. So I don't know how old I was, but I was probably pretty young. And actually, so that brings me to you, Anna. Now, you weren't not that young anymore. You're going to college, all that fun stuff. But when did you get started?
I got started at the Comtra here around 2013, and my first production was Bye Bye Birdie, and then Cinderella, and then I took a couple years off during high school, and then I came back this year, and it's been a great opportunity for me to stay involved in the theater scene here in Cranberry, and so I've gotten the opportunity to stage manage for the first time, and I've been assistant directing, and also it's given me some more opportunities to perform, so I've also been in 2 productions here as a performer as well this year, so it's been awesome.
Pretty awesome. And that's what I was chatting with them about, and they didn't need me to tell them this, but some people may not know this, but acting, I credit that to give me a lot of public speaking and just personal confidence and things like that. So it's just, and so when you talk about directing, leadership skills right there are ridiculous, right? To be able to manage people, timelines, all kind of different things. I think that's a really awesome thing, you know, and not that everybody goes that far with it, but it gives you the building blocks to go, use those skills however you want to use those skills. But you're actually going into theater school now, right?
Yes. I'm going to Point Park for acting. And speaking from the directing standpoint, it's been really awesome to have that experience, and I think it's helped me a lot as an actor to really communicate with other actors on what the scene needs or what the production needs and what we need to see from an audience perspective, and it's allowed me to understand things from the director's perspective and go, oh, well, I never projected as much, or I never paid attention to this part of the scene as much as I should have, and stuff like that. So it's been really interesting to sit on the other side. And,
get a real well-rounded experience there. And Jessica, both you and Anna, but Jessica was telling us that some of the students or past performers here have gone on to do Broadway. Give a shout out. Who were some of those that you mentioned?
All right, so Trey Compton and Lara.
Because I know Trey watches the show.
Of course. And Lara.
Someone might know.
Well, Lara's in town right now. She's going to be doing Bridges in Madison County,
cool.
which opens this weekend. But Lara and Trey did their senior project here from NA back in the day. And now they're both going on and doing great things in New York and beyond. And then we also have Connor Galuli, who was a Seneca Valley grad in 2012, 13.
So.
And he's now on Broadway, and he is the star in School of Rock.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. That's right, you were telling me we saw a picture of him way back when he was doing, I don't know what play it was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think Guys and Dolls. Yeah.
Guys and Dolls, that's pretty cool. Well, tell me something. There's a couple questions I always ask whenever I do these interviews that I'll ask you guys. I think it's just interesting, like, one of the questions would be, what is it that people are surprised to learn about? Like, do you ever have someone, I know Jessica, you did a lot of PR for Comtra, even like myself, I said, I didn't know you guys did comedy nights.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Are there other aspects of that, whether it be on the side of the actors and people behind the scenes, or on the side of the community when they're coming in? Are there things that people, have you ever heard that phrase, like, I had no idea that you guys yada yada yada, or I didn't know that aspect? What are some of those things?
Well, I think the biggest aspect is that we're an all-volunteer community theater. So we are encouraging people to come and participate, help us out, put on a quality production. In the past 5 years, I feel like we've kind of upped the ante with our productions. We've really tried to produce higher quality shows. And
so all the actors and everyone on the stage, it's all volunteers?
All volunteers. Awesome. Anywhere from the people working the concessions, to the box office, to backstage, to performing on the stage.
Yeah, and you even said you guys are a nonprofit, a 501c3.
Yes.
That's a great thing to bring up. That's really awesome.
Yeah, and we're currently in the process of putting together some sponsorship packages. So if you want to get involved and you want to make a monetary donation, we can help you with that. But if you want to volunteer some time, we're always looking for help. One of the things that we did with Anna was get her started. She helped me out with a production in the fall last year. She was a stage manager, and we got her, feet wet with doing that, which then led her into assistant directing in the January-February timeframe, to performing and back to assistant directing. And so that's one of the things that we really strongly encourage, is to get people involved and teach them all the different aspects, because we don't know who is going to be on stage, who's going to be backstage. Your career takes you different directions.
That's right. Oh, because in the summer camp, I think they need to come back here. You have to swivel.
They
can go around that way. That's all right. Okay, so here's I'd say probably the last question, but it'll be a two-part. You guys can both answer it.
Okay.
And it's one of my favorite questions is, what gets you into what you do? Why do you love doing what you do? What makes you show up? Why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep coming back? All that. I think it's kind of interesting when you talk about different businesses and people who work in the area. They've all kind of got this passion for what they do. And it's kind of neat to kind of delve into the background behind it. So we'll start with you, Anna. What got you started into acting, or what kind of keeps you going with acting, and what do you like about the industry and just about doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. I have as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be. Hi.
That's all right. Well, we could swivel it this way, or we could keep it going. It's up to you guys.
Well, maybe we should swivel.
All right, let's swivel. That's all right. We'll move it right over here. We're just gonna swivel it. Either way, the background's really pretty. I like the trees and everything else. So, all right. So you were saying that you've always been into it, there, Anna?
Yeah. I've always.
This is just how we roll in Cranberry Township. Very spontaneous. But anyhow, so.
So I've always been into acting. I've always loved watching old Rodgers and Hammerstein movies. That's basically what I grew up on, because I was never allowed to watch Disney Channel or the more older TV shows for kids. So I just watched those all the time, and that's all I ever wanted to do. And then I got more involved as I got older. And something I just really love about it, especially theater and theater in the round here at the Comtra, is how intimate this art form is, and how you the actors can be feeling something or portraying something on stage, and the audience and the actors and performers have that immediate connection.
That's cool.
And yeah, and there's also just such a rush with performing, and the fact that we do get to do 3 weekends here, and you have multiple chances to, once you're comfortable with the show, to try different things. Obviously, nothing at like to put yourself
Sure,
at other
yeah,
actors
yeah.
at risk, but it's really nice to have the opportunity to perform so much. And yeah, it's just
That's great.
what I've always loved.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate that. How about yourself, Jessica?
So I started performing in high school. I did a little bit in college, and then I had children. And my youngest started in theater in 2nd grade, and that has just propelled me forward to truly embracing the arts. I've always been interested in the arts, but it's really made it full circle now. My older daughter here directs. My younger daughter performs. She does tech stuff. And it's just, to me, especially here at the Comtra, it's more of an opportunity, as Annie said, that it's an intimate experience, but it's more that we're so inclusive. We really, truly are a community, and we really try to make it a community so that the people who are involved with the Comtra feel connected. And I think that's important in the arts, especially in today's society.
So you just enjoy being a part of that, essentially? Being a part of that whole community?
Yes.
Yeah. That's neat. We had talked a little bit in the beginning on, I was joking how my mom had created a crocodile costume for my sister for Peter Pan way back in the day. And that's just my little memory, but on the other side, as the one orchestrating and being a part of all that, that's got to be pretty rewarding.
Yeah, and you know, from a costuming standpoint, because that's normally what I do, is a lot of costuming. It allows me to embrace my brain and come up with creative ways and solutions to make, because it can be challenging at times.
Yeah, absolutely. We had, I can't remember, I think with Peter Pan we had strobe lights, because we couldn't with security, you couldn't with safety put a zip line in the middle of the theater. So we were like trying to create like, how do you make the illusion of flight, you know, in a community theater like this.
Sure.
You use those creative juices, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
Well, this has been a lot of fun for me, coming back to the Comtra Theater, and hopefully for those of you that have never been and that haven't been, that you take the time to come out. It is a lot of fun. It is cool, and I can't wait to come back with our kids, both in the seats, but maybe even on the stage.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Any last thoughts for folks hanging out with us thus far?
I would just say to check out our website, comtratheater.org, for all the latest productions that are coming up. We are actually currently booked through January and February. I can tell you that in August, well, All Shook Up opens next week in July.
You gonna be in this one?
Yes, she is. She's one of our leads. And then in August it will be Little Mermaid.
Cool.
And in September it's Mamma Mia. We are the first regional production of that, a community theater production of that. And then in October it will be Young Frankenstein. November is one for the older families, American Idiot, which is Green Day's musical. And then to round out the 2018 year will be A Christmas Story, the musical, in December.
Very cool. Man, Young Frankenstein, that's got to be fun.
Yes. Talk about challenging.
That's right, yeah. Any last words on it for the folks?
Just come to the Comtra, see our new shows, and it'll be a great experience.
She's leading this next one, so we gotta show up, right?
Yeah.
We got to. But all right, well, with that, I'm gonna say thanks for hanging out. Thank you guys for showing up and hanging out, and thank you guys for watching. Please share it. You never know who in the community might love theater, not know. Like, I didn't even realize that it's every month, and comedy nights, and all these opportunities for kids to get involved and plug into the arts. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you guys next time. All righty?
Thank you.
All right, thanks again, guys.